All right. We are connected on X, and we already have 9 people, 13 people showing up on Chris's account. Looks like we just posted to Cashflow Chronicles. All right. So we are up and going. Hello, everybody. June 5th, 2025. Believe it or not, can't believe it's already June. Glad to be here hanging out with you and Mr. Patel. As always, it is a phenomenal time. Interesting day with the tweets going back and forth with Elon and Donnie. Don't know if we'll get into that too much, but we could always dive on potential implications. You never know what's going to go on with that. Someone feels orchestrated, but that's a different story, maybe for later in the show. As always, this is free. Contemplate becoming a member or subscribe. Subscribing is completely free and allows you to participate in the chat on YouTube. Let's just go down the list. Apple back above 200, Amazon $208, Dutch Bros back running again at $75. Google tried and true, the $168 mark for the past couple weeks or so. Palantir retracing a little bit today, 122. Rocket Lab holding in strong at $28 in the after hours. SPY 594. Then we have Bitcoin just about 102. Oil $63 or so. And I think I missed one, but it is all right. The Q's 525. So anyway, Mr. Patel, how are things going with you? Do you have any quick direction that you want to jump the conversation into? What do you think is going on today in the markets?
I just want to say I told you so about ASTS.
You did?
I mentioned. So one of the things that I don't know if the chat knows this, but one of the things that we have is like me, Matt, Steven, Amit, and one of our other friends, Ken. We have this weekly Monday kind of just like private conversation on opportunities that we're seeing, and we kind of challenge each other a little bit. And so I brought up ASTS, and I said, "Look, guys, there is an opportunity here in ASTS." And people were just like, okay, so I gave the whole spiel, and I think some of the guys in the chat, like in our group chat, they bought it. But it's very interesting because that position for me right now is doing extremely well.
I know some people in my Patreon and also members like it as well. I don't dislike it, and I know I give people a lot of hard time. I give people more of a hard time because of the cult like community that it has rather than what I think. I actually think it's a very noble thing that they're trying to do. And I actually think that in the long term, they will be successful. It's just for me, I already have some rather risky positions in the portfolio, and I'd rather see some of that revenue start to come in before I establish a position. That said, I guess we did establish a position of the public portfolio yesterday, or was it this morning? I don't remember. I guess I'll find out in a second because I'm pulling up the details right now. But so luckily for us, I think we bought in at like the $26 range, if I remember correctly. Let me see.
Let's put up our public portfolio. Let's see what happened today. It's always nice to see the moves.
Give me a second.
I also think there's actually, with all this Trump and Elon fallout, I think there are a couple of stocks that are actually worth really taking a deep dive in. And that's what we'll do today.
Like Rocket Lab?
Rocket Lab could be one of them, but I have another one that actually could be better. And it's something that everyone kind of already knows, but just they may not think of it right away. So, but that, we'll mention it today. So we'll talk about it.
Is it Amazon?
It is Amazon, actually. Good guess.
Was it really?
Yeah, good guess.
Oh, shit.
I mean, if you think about all the businesses that Amazon is kind of like set up with, outside of their AWS business and everything else, they have a pretty decent space program. They haven't got up to reusable rockets yet, but dude, they have a lot of contracts with companies for launch services for their New Glenn rocket.
But that's Blue Origin, right? I mean, that's not owned by Amazon. That is just a Jeff Bezos owned company.
Right, but Project Kuiper is, and the thing is, one of the things that New Glenn is doing is launching those satellites. So if you think about it, right now everyone is very fixated on Starlink, and the one thing that I think Elon did today that, I mean, it could damage his reputation a little bit, is that is that by saying like, oh, you know, we're gonna stop the Dragon capsule, or, you know, blah blah blah, you're essentially telling the government like, you can't rely on me to take you to space, so you have to make
Right.
sure you diversify your supply chains with people. So I think that's an important thing to remember for anyone in, you know, not just government but also private companies, where you don't want to have like one company have so much leverage over you. So in that respect, I think we're going to see like this broadening out, and I think space is definitely like the next investment area that people should be focusing on beyond just the AI thing, because I think there's so many use cases that are going to be coming from space-based industries that, like, right now we're still in the very very early innings of a major upward trajectory in space, you know. So
Mm.
basically we are going to the moon. It's just, you know, how, like, which companies are going to take you there. Rocket
Right.
Lab is definitely going to be one of them, so, you know.
I
So
think,
all right.
yeah, I don't think a lot of people understand fully like what the implications of going to the moon in the 60s actually had on society. I mean, it allowed us to have navigation systems, it allowed us to have better communication systems, you know, via satellite, etc. And so I think that, you know, where would we be today without, you know, central navigation systems kind of starting to show up in the late 90s, early 2000s in cars.
Yeah.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to when I really started driving, like I didn't really have to go anywhere. I like remember when I first started driving, it was like early, I guess when was that? I guess it's like late 2000s. I had to type out like MapQuest and stuff like that and actually printed out the instructions. And, you know, if you miss the turn, then you're effed because the instructions don't help you. So, I mean, thinking about some of the key things that we actually got from space is pretty insane. And I think that with that as well, I mean, we're not just talking about when you talk about space with SpaceX and Rocket Lab and New Glenn, we're also talking about point to point transfer as well. Like we're talking about being able to potentially go from Singapore to New York in 45 minutes. Granted, yes, of course, you're still going to have to travel an hour to get from wherever spaceport they're taking off from. Um,
See, I think that is going to be like so far out, because I mean, think about it. What are the cost of launching things to Leo orbit? Like, I don't know if that's even a real possibility, to be honest with you, to make the economics of like space flight work from point to point transfer for people, you know. I
Yes,
mean,
but yes, but I
yeah,
do think that that's a far out sort of thought. But at the same
yeah.
time, if you think about emergency services or just, you know, being able to deliver things very quickly, you know, worldwide, if you need something in a very remote area that isn't able to be done via like, you know, the way I look at it is you could use a neutron rocket or, you know, another hypersonic sort of vehicle like
Mhm.
a haste vehicle to potentially get you in the right area, right? Maybe like a 10, 20 mile sort of
I'm
radius
saying,
area. And then you
okay,
could
so
use
give me,
let me finish.
yeah,
Then you
sorry.
have a second stage that can potentially be drone like or have some sort of usability to be able to get you to a direct sort of deposit. And then you have that first stage that could land down, um, you know, down range that allows you to reuse it, you know. So I think that there's the opportunity still, and it's being investigated by the US Air Force and many other, you know, specifically for neutron, and I'm sure they're doing the same with Starship. I wouldn't be surprised if New Glenn is in those conversations as well, because those guys are the key players in the Artemis program and the major space programs going into the future.
I don't know, man. That's just, to me. I don't necessarily see that as the main use case for it. I mean, maybe logistically, but I mean, even logistically, you could get things from place to place within 24 hours. Like the only area that I see like this being useful is maybe in some military applications. But then again, it's, I don't know. I honestly just don't see that being like the core use case. Maybe maybe in like 2050 or something. I'd re- like I said, I just don't see it. I think there are other applications that are going to be coming from. One is definitely telecommunications. I think telecommunications is probably one of the biggest ones. Another one, of course, is human travel to space, which could theoretically, build like additional colonies and things like that. I mean, but that's way further down the line. I think in the short to medium term, it's going to be about telecommunications and putting satellites in the atmosphere at a very cheap price, and then those satellite services becomes exceptionally scalable, and you can actually generate a ton of revenue from them. So I think right now we are a very land-based system with regards to telecommunications, where you need towers, you need fiber optic cables from point to point. I think in the future, if you end up in a place where you can have some level of communication between hundreds of thousands of nodes on the ground, but you can control them with a satellite, that's awesome. That's one of the biggest, I think, alphas that's out there. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm very bullish on ASTS, actually, because I think the possibilities of connectivity downstream are going to be pretty much endless. Now, I do think that there are going to be problems around throughput, when it comes to like getting a lot of data to be, sent over the current technology that they have. But I think technology over time will improve, and they'll be able to get there. I think for me, when I look at it, I think I'm bullish on the sheer volume of applications that could be out there. And that's why I think we should talk about a little bit about Amazon too, because I think Project Kuiper could theoretically be a rival to something like SpaceX. And then you've got One World that's out there that could, present some rival services. All of these things, they require a dish. The challenge that I like, well, I don't want to say challenge, the moat that ASTS has right now is because they're direct to cell, direct to antenna. That means that you can literally put very, very small packages together and have them connected. So here's an example. Like, you don't need a dish pointed in direction of a satellite and all this other stuff for ASTS's technology, which is amazing. So that means that, like, right now, if you put a transponder in a car, boom, it's connected. You could put a transponder in in a whole variety of things, and those applications could theoretically work out really well. And the other thing is, there's no blind spots, because you're basically going right over the sky. With the other technologies out there, there are some downsides. And I'm not saying like ASTS's technology is going to take over and it's going to replace broadband internet and all that stuff. Like, that's not the case at all. I think we're still going to need wire technology, that's super high speed, fiber optic wise. But this just helps fill the gaps. And I think in the future, we're going to have a more connected world. And if ASTS can even pick off small pennies from every device that is connected via its services, they're going to do extremely well. And that's their business model, right? They're going to do wholesale telecommunication connectivity services where they don't have to do any marketing. They don't have to do any sales. All they have to do is just work with their MNO partners, and their MNO partners do the selling on their behalf.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for people that may not have ever lived in remote areas, it might be difficult for them to truly comprehend how difficult it is. There are people like where my mom lives. It's not even that far away from say Bloomsburg, which is a pretty decent sized city within Pennsylvania. And she's within 15 minutes or so of that, and she has one wireless provider. One. She can't get Comcast. She can't get Xfinity. She can't get Verizon. We're talking it's a single internet service provider. And if you can't get good service with that person, then you're effed. And so you're 100% right. And I don't think people fully recognize is like when you're talking about internet and global internet, it's like this is actually what you're talking about. This picture that I have up here and all these cables that are currently running across. And it probably looks even worse if you were to include like all the wires from the Morse code days, but this is like the actual like internet sort of cables that provide, and Google's laying them all the time. Every company's laying them all the time. So if you think about it, it's like we're talking about the ability to bypass some of these, and not necessarily to an extent like have the fastest internet or anything like that, but just to be connected whatsoever is a huge stepping stone. And so Starlink has done a really good job with that. Granted, I've been coached through conversations on Twitter, or people think I'm trolling, that obviously with the Starlink you have to carry the little puck with you that's like this big. Sometimes I actually have the bigger ones as well, but those get you to about 250 to 300 megabytes per second. And I've seen somebody in Australia on one of my posts posted that they were getting 383 megabytes per second. Was actually faster internet than I have. But then again, I only have slow internet because I'm poor, or cheap rather. And I don't feel like paying for higher speed internet. And it's just me in the house. If I had more people here, I'd probably be paying for more, but I don't need much more than 200 megabytes per second, so I don't pay for it. But regardless, it's like we're talking about people that just don't have any sort of connection. And I think you're right. I think initially ASTS is hoping to get a couple megabytes per second to ability to just make cell phone calls and to be able to make text messages, where previously in very remote locations you didn't have that ability. So just to unlock that allows people with an unmodified device, right? I mean, that's the thing with ASTS that makes it different than, say, Starlink, is we're talking about unmodified devices. Now, if you start talking about devices that are slightly modified, which I think Google and Android are looking to potentially do, and there's conversations about whether or not Apple is going to get involved in that, then you're talking about the ability to potentially get higher download and upload speeds, so that couple megabytes per second. But you also have to think, like, we don't necessarily know how quickly, and this is kind of the question I kind of have for people out there, and every time I ask this, I kind of get trolled. It's like, how quickly will we be able to get to double digits or potentially 100 megabytes per second? Because I think the capacity for the Bluebird 2, which is ASTS's vehicle that's going to be launched up with New Glenn and I think SpaceX, etc., I think the capacity of it's 120 megabyte per second download speed. Now, obviously, capacity never means consistent download speeds, right? You'd get a fraction of that. What fraction? I don't know. Is it 10%, 15%, 50%, 80%? I don't know. But that's kind of always been my question. It's like, okay, so the maximum right now for ASTS would be 120 megabytes per second in a perfect scenario, peak world. What is it going to be consistently? But I think, like you stated, you have great partnerships ongoing. Obviously, Elon with Starlink has bypassed a lot of what he's been doing. He, like most people, would go through the MNOs, mobile network operators. Elon went directly to the FCC to get a specific part of the spectrum that he's been able and has been using for quite some time. But granted, he's relied on relationships around the world to be able to get access to their networks. T-Mobile's working with Starlink as well. So, I mean, he has that. But I'm kind of curious, this does potentially bode well in the next 6 months to a year for an ASTS if, people continue to say we need to depend or loosen our dependency on what Elon is doing, where most people are just like, trust the genius. If this is kind of tattering his image, or they're saying, like, we don't want to be involved with somebody who could potentially be this loose of a cannon, or in case anything does bad happen with the FCC, etc., we need to make sure our systems are, working appropriately in a very remote world. Like, we need something that's more secure. Then they might have backup plans with ASTS, right? So I've never been against ASTS. I've always been against how rude their community has always been. And I've always kind of stated that I'm very curious to see when they actually start generating revenue, what kind of results they get.
Yeah. Take a look at this real quick. So I think one of the major things about scalability is actually going to depend on their MNO partners, right? So if you look at the total number of users that all of their partners have, I mean, these things go into like the 2.7 billion mark, right? And all of these mobile operators, they all own the spectrums in their respective regions. So by piggybacking on them, I think the business model is actually very efficient. And I think the fact that ASTS has been able to lock all of these things in as early as they have is huge for ASTS, especially if you look at like Vodafone. Like Vodafone has almost like 500 million users. Telefonica in South America and Europe has like 300 million. It's kind of crazy to see these numbers. But remember, we're not like ASTS is not looking to provide cell phone services for all of the, like basically all of these people, like 2 billion people. I think some people, when I see comments about, oh, this is going to be a $500 trillion company, I'm like, no. So what these guys are trying to do is basically sell a technology service to all of these guys. So it's almost like you're just picking up pennies. You're picking up pennies, but there's so many pennies to pick up. You generate a huge amount of income from that, right? So it's very similar to like America. Like I said, the business model is very similar to American Tower, to SBAC Communications, to Crown Castle, where essentially they build out towers, they build out the infrastructure, and basically just rent it to the mobile networks. And the mobile networks are happy to pay it because they don't have to invest in all the technology. They don't have to invest in the patents. They don't have to invest in the research. They don't have to invest in any of that stuff. It's literally like, hey, listen, let me get $1 per user and you get connectivity, right? And you pay me rent. And so they're happy to pay that rent. Their job is to do what? Their job is to, buy spectrum, sell pieces of it to people so that they can communicate. The other thing is, I think in the United States are very, I don't want to say spoiled, but we're pretty spoiled when it comes to great connectivity, right? We're one of the largest economies and we have so many choices on how we get that connectivity. A lot of the other part of the world, they don't have that same level of infrastructure yet. And the thing is, to get that infrastructure built, it's going to be monumental cost, man. I mean, like if you think about certain parts and regions of the world that are, I don't want to say they're not inhabitable, but they're not habitated, like there's not a large population around it. Now, but the thing is, these are places where people do traverse from place to place. So you need connectivity in that region, to operate. So I think those areas are going to benefit significantly. And especially because now you don't need to build like a 5G cell phone tower in the middle of nowhere just to get a coverage, And I think that's what AT&T, I think that's what Verizon, I think all of these companies, they realize that. Like, we don't need to build a cell phone tower in the middle of the desert in Nevada just so that we can say, look, we've got adequate coverage around here, right? And even if they do build something, it's going to be a 2G signal, which is complete garbage at this point. So if you can get a 5G signal out in the middle of the desert and, and have that feature, it's amazing. I think that's going to be a big thing for these guys. So not to mention, I think I have to find this due diligence that I had that I found before, but the applications are going to go way beyond just the consumer. I think there's actually going to be a lot of military applications that are going to be out there. And I think there's going to be a lot of commercial applications that are going to be out there for enterprises looking for connectivity and all this other stuff, and also for things like asset tracking, like putting transponders on things around the world and having them routinely connect to a satellite, and where your real time where your assets are, and you don't need to like modify any equipment or anything. I mean, that'd be the most ideal thing ever.
Yeah, I mean that's the game. I think more so that Rocket Lab is trying to play with like infrared sensing and Earth observation and lasers and laser communication and things of the like. I know ASTS also has been involved with the Space Development Agency, which is obviously a military application, or Department of Defense. It's a subset of the Department of Defense. So, I mean, ASTS has been involved in that as well, and getting some sort of, I don't know if it was a license or an agreement or what have you, but to be able to be a part of that. And so I'm not sure which tranche it was, if it was a tracking layer or if it was I'm not a beta layer. I'm not 100% certain, but I did want to give a shout out to Big Billy. Much appreciated for becoming a member, my friend. As always, all that money always goes into the public portfolio, which we share with you guys as much as we can.
And a lot of these, look at this. So like the Pentagon right now is working on working with these firms to build like a military satellite network, right? So you can see here, like, look at all these companies that are out there, like Amazon Web Services, of course, Amazon Kuiper, Anduril, are Astranis, Atlas, Envil, Google, Palantir, Planet Labs, Microsoft, Spider Oak. I don't even know some of these are. But essentially, the military realizes that the value in having these kinds of things. I mean, I could tell you, like imagine right now you're in Afghanistan in the middle of the desert. Dude, a cell phone in the middle, like you're not gonna get connectivity or anything. You have a cell phone that's connected through a satellite through a secure link, and you're able to communicate with the Pentagon, bro. That's dope. That's what you want, you know. No one hacking through your signal either, you know. Like you're not riding on someone else's network, which can be tapped. Like
Well,
I said,
that would be more secure with lasers, and that would be more of a specialty with the recent acquisitions of Rocket Lab than radio frequency that ASTS is providing. But that's a different story for a different day.
Well, the thing is, the problem with lasers is that on the ground, like you need for lasers, you need like point to point, like direct line of sight. You know, for RF, it's not direct of sight. It's actually like region. Like you, as long as like the transponder is within a region, it connects. It's like if you look at your cell phone,
the whole region gets a signal, so pretty hackable, right?
No, it's encrypted. That's the thing. It's encrypted both ways.
Encryptions
it's encrypted
can be
going
hacked.
up.
Yeah.
Huh? Encryptions can be hacked, but it's not as easy as you think.
I know.
Like the amount of data I know. But the thing is, like, that's the major difference. Now, the reason why I say encryptions, you know, you can have an encrypted thing. If you have, like, let's say you're connected to a cell phone provider or a cell phone company in the middle of nowhere, right? And if they have cell service, especially in some parts of Africa and everything else, you don't have cell service. How do you connect? You know, so if these guys can provide that, like I said, I think long term, this thing is gonna provide some real value both to military applications, commercial, and so I think we're very, very early in the innings of this thing. And if you go based on some of the estimates that are coming out, like Scotiabank, they just did an estimate for ASTS right now. They did a price target. I think they did a price target of about $45 or $48, something right here. And the other thing is, and this is the part that gets me a little bit bullish on it too, which is.
And then I do want to move on because we've been chatting about it for about 25 minutes.
Yeah, 1 second. There's something right here, like right here about Jeff Bezos possibly becoming an investor in it. I looked at ASTS's launch schedule, dude. It's all New Glenn rockets. Like if you look at the launches for their Blue Walker 2 satellites, I think two-thirds of their satellites are going to be riding Blue Origin. You know, so I think if that's the case and Bezos becomes an investor, I think that could lend a lot of credit. But I mean, Google's already an investor. You know, Verizon and AT&T are already investors too. But man, if Bezos gets in, that would be a big deal. You know.
Interesting. So you and Sam have been going on and on about Nebius. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it just a data center that has, you know, a bunch of black cell computers and they're just
it's a little bit more complicated than that. They basically provide AI compute and they provide like software to end users so that, you know, they could basically do what they need to with AI. Right? They contract out AI services. They have partnerships with NVIDIA. They've got partnerships with Meta and everything else. So think of CoreWeave on crack. That's what I think of Nebius. Nebius, the founders of Nebius have run a successful company before that. Unfortunately, you know, they had to deal with the fallout from the whole Russia-Ukraine thing because of like citizenship issues and everything else. But I think they've got themselves well settled in Israel. There's a lot of positive things about it. I wish Sam was here to explain because I mean, me and him did a really long conversation about it. But Nebius has the potential to be a much bigger company than it is today. It's got a lot of contracts with the Israeli is really government. And now you're starting to see the big guys become partners in their ecosystem as well. So like Meta today, I think they just announced a deal on that. That's why it actually climbed. Meta, let me just look it up.
So it's $11 billion company right now.
Yeah.
I mean, how big do we think it could get? I mean, is it going to be 100 billion, 200 billion, 300 billion?
What is CoreWeave worth right now?
I don't know.
60 billion. And they've got other parts of their business too. So they're not just infrastructure providers. They have other parts of their business that can generate real value for shareholders. Let me just, where was it today? Blah 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 blah. Man, I just saw it. Where was it? Whatever. When I find it, I'll post
Yeah, no
it.
worries.
But
You asked me about
yeah.
Let's think about purchasing it in the public portfolio. You wanted to shrink our new position, which I get. It is a large bank. It isn't trading exactly for cheap, but it's also not too expensive. Granted, it is growing pretty quickly, but you are right. Like we're not going to be having a 5x anytime soon from new, right? And so I'm kind of with you there. It's like unless they can do something absolutely insane and grow the company to $250 billion plus, it's going to be a slow grind, right? I mean, it's kind of hit critical mass. And so I'm with you,
yeah. The other challenge that Nubank also has is that if you look at the number of charge-offs that they have, they're pretty high. So when it comes to the credit cycle, you typically, like right now, I have a inkling that growth is slowing down around the world. So you kind of want to not be as what's the word, as leaned into an industry that could possibly have some challenges. I'm not saying Nubank has challenges. I'm saying it could have challenges. It's still generating a great amount of money. It's just doing really well operating, but the level of growth that we have on it may not be as fast. Whereas I think right now we're still pretty in the early innings of some of these other companies, like in their trajectories. And I think there's real value there. I mean, at one point, Nubank was worth only like $4 or $5. I've had it since then, so I'm not saying Nubank is done by any means. I think there's still value there. But if we're looking to basically beat the market and beat it pretty handsomely, which is the goal of our portfolio, of course, I would say that maybe it's time to reevaluate our Nubank thesis a little bit and see if we can use that capital and unlock it and put it somewhere else.
Yeah. So the portfolio with Venture Global turning around the past week, and we could touch a little bit more on that. Obviously, that's been the majority of our portfolio. We actually had a pretty big in Venture Global the past 2 days, unfortunately. So I wish we had trimmed a little bit more, but we did trim this morning in the high 14s. And so we took some of that to buy ASTS. So good move on our part. We preserved capital by taking out a VG before it dipped 5% today. And then we made 7% on that $500 just by moving it to ASTS today. So well timed in that respect. So curious to see. We are down 2% overall in the portfolio today, though. But just last week, we were below 9,000. And so we did have the opportunity to add because of the great viewership that you guys bring us every week. Last month was our best month in terms of revenue. So again, coupled with the previous month, we didn't hit $100 in revenue. So in order to get paid out from YouTube, just so you guys know, you have to make $100 in revenue. To you, of course, YouTube takes a portion of, I think, 50 to 60% of every dollar that we make. YouTube takes, or Google in that respect, and we get left the remainder. But thankfully for us, we were able to have a double whammy because I think we only made like $80-$90 in April, and then in May we had one of our best months ever, if not the best month ever. So that's a true love for you guys as we started to get a little bit back into the groove of streaming a little bit more. So much appreciated by you guys, and that allowed us to push over to 9,300. It's actually pretty crazy. I remember when you and I started this a little under 2 years ago. I think it was like July, August of 23 is when we kind of started. And you were like, we'll get to $100,000 one day. And I was like, nah. I was like, that's kind of a pipe dream. We're almost 10% of the way there, believe it or not. And that's without any, that, to be honest with you, if you imagine if we actually took this a little bit more seriously, like if I put more rigor into it, did thumbnails, we could get some sponsorships easily for this and be able to get that up to 100. And not only would that be good for us, but then I think if we got to 100, I would want to do some sort of give backs to the community. I don't know what we would do, but
for me, I like doing this because it lets me get my thoughts out there.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. My biggest challenge is, and this is something that I'm actually consider buying a Switch 2. The reason why is because my brain is always on the market, man. I'm trying to learn how to not be as focused on the market all the time. I just wanna chill a little bit sometimes. Be like, all right, you know what? Instead of us talking about the market, let's play Mario Kart. Have you ever played Mario Kart?
Mario Kart's a good time.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about getting a Switch 2 and just doing maybe we could do we could talk about stocks and stuff and play Mario Kart at the same time.
I've done it before. I've done a stream once or twice playing Rocket League. I don't know if you ever played Rocket League, but it's it's a car soccer game pretty much. Like you're driving cars instead of people, and you're playing soccer pretty much. And so it can fly. The ball can fly off the walls and stuff like that. So the cars have rocket engines on the back of them. It's fun. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that as well. If you're just like, you know what, I just need to get the hell out of Dodge. Let's just link up and play. I'd be more than fine with that. But just to clarify, the 9,300 isn't all from the YouTube channel. Chris has added money. I've added money to it as well. Mm-hmm. So that's not like I guess we've made some money. I don't think that even half that money, but a lot of it's actually gains as well. Like we had a really good year last year.
What's the total that we were up so far
this year, or just in total?
No, we could do both, total and beating the market.
I don't know. I'd have to it would take me a second to find the right ones, but for the actual year to date and everything, so the year to date is what we have on the left, and then the last year is what is on the right. So, and that doesn't include today. So we would have pulled back a little bit today, but I don't know, the whole market pulled back a little bit, or was it rather flat? I think it was rather flat. So we'll probably tomorrow we'll adjust, but we're up about 15% year to date compared to the S&P 500 being up 2%, and the last year we're up 53 compared to the 14. So nice to be in VG over the past couple days as it's kind of gotten revalued. And I guess we haven't talked about that. Do we want to talk about that briefly? I don't want to dive too much into it because I know we talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking of a different topic, I can talk about it briefly.
No, we can talk about it. So me and Matt are both very bullish on Venture Global long term. Basically, it's a business that's easy to understand. They liquefy natural gas. They sell it overseas. They get paid a fee. So it's like a toll. It's a toll business. Every time anything crosses over, you get paid, right? That money gets used. Some of it gets used to pay down debt. Some of it gets used to buy back shares. Some of it used to get paid to you as a dividend holder. Now, the real thing is, how many toll bridges are these guys going to be building? Well, they're on their third toll bridge. They already built one with Calcasieu Pass. They built another one, a bigger one with Plaquemines, and now they're going to build another giant toll bridge called CP2. They're not actually toll bridges. They're called liquefaction facilities. I'm just trying to make it analogous so that people, understand. Now, the thing is, it's like any other business that has that model. You build this bridge, it's expensive, right? You can't just build a bridge and it costs $5. Like, no, you got to pay up front. So a lot of capital has to be put up front. But what's great is that once it's built, now you've got this giant stream of income for the next 50 years. And over that 50 years, slowly over time, you're paying some of that money back to the debt holders. But most of that money is going to you as an equity holder in the form of either dividends or buybacks. And the thing is, this company has that business model. So unlike other businesses that are more commodity based, where you have you have discrepancy in prices of like oil and natural gas prices. They go up really high, sometimes they go down really low. These guys, their business model is very simple. They sign deals with off-takers who are companies that are contracted to basically buy from them, and then they can go and sell it wherever they want. The thing is, once you get into that contract, you have to pay, whether you take the natural gas or LNG or not. So let's say tomorrow morning, I don't know, the world discovers that natural gas is abundant in Europe, and all of a sudden now Europe doesn't buy any more natural gas. Well, the off takers, who are usually AAA rated companies, they end up paying Venture Global to buy that natural gas, and they have to figure out who they're going to sell it to. So the key here is, which side of the risk equation do you want to be on? Now, of course, I don't think that we'll ever get into a position where natural gas is not in demand. I think there's always going to be natural gas demand. And so by constructing these sites, they're able to sign these long-term 20-year deals. And those 20-year deals, once you sign it, it's like you're getting money. Now, a couple of things. When you sign this deal, you're also indexing the liquefaction fees to two things: the Henry Hub, which is the price of natural gas, which is currently trading at. So it's neutral for the facility. So, it's not like the facility has to buy the natural gas, liquefy it, and then you get it, and that's your price. Like, no, it's usually the price that you pay is indexed to what Henry Hub is, and Henry Hub times 1.15. Yep. And then on top of it, the liquefaction fees also have an inflation component into them also, where if inflation goes up, then your liquefaction fee goes up along with inflation over time. Because, I mean, if you think about it, if your liquefaction fee is $2.50 for the next 20 years, your costs are definitely going to be going up. You have to pay people more money as time goes on. You have to hire more people. You have replacement costs that are going to be more expensive on equipment that you're utilizing. So all of those things, are going to have to be indexed. So what they do is they index that into the contract, where it says, well, look, you're going to pay Henry Hub, you're going to pay a liquefaction fee, and the liquefaction fee is going to be set. But then on top of it, there's going to be an inflation component to it. So from my perspective, you look way down the line, I think this is where some of the people that do their discounted cash flow models, like when they look at it, they're like, oh, look, they're getting paid, let's say $2 liquefaction fee, and they're utilizing that $2 liquefaction fee for 2035. I'm like, dude, that's 10 years of compounded interest that's going to be built into that liquefaction fee. So your numbers are not going to work, on that regard. So if you do your if they do their cash flows and stuff. So on top of it, you also aren't taking into consideration some of the spot prices, which these guys are going to be leaving. So there are definitely going to be times where, natural gas demand is going to outpace supply. And these guys, if they have that excess capacity, they're going to be able to sell at much, much higher prices than they've contracted at. So I think overall, the business is good. I think the leadership has done very well to figure out how to build these things. They've got the approvals from the federal government to do all the stuff that they need to. And I think this now is just buy this stock and don't look at it for the next 5 to 10 years, and you'll end up in a much different place.
Yeah. So to kind of give an executive summary, you're able to get the gas on the water, including liquefaction fees, transport costs, etc. $7-8. You're able to ship it to Europe or Southeast Asia for anywhere between $11 to $13, and in 2022, 2023, it was much higher than that. So that's what you're kind of hoping, is that there's some sort of lack of supply in those areas, and so you're able to be able to get much higher, $15, $16, $17, and so you're just chasing that margin, right? And so regardless of whether or not you're getting it for spot prices or not, though, just because you're doing the liquefaction and you're buying Henry Hub at 1.15, as Chris noted, you still take margin from that, right? So you're basically getting a marketing fee for the 1.15 at Henry Hub, and then you're also making margin within that liquefaction fee, right? So you might get $1.50 of kind of net to you, and then obviously part of that goes back to paying off the facility, etc. Why the stock has jumped recently is because, as Chris alluded to, There's the third facility. They just kind of broke ground on it. I don't know if they, in this statement, if they talked about how they got the third tranche of trains yet. So to give people context, there's supposed to be 36 trains in this facility to produce 20 MTPA of liquefied natural gas on an annual basis. Granted, that's the nameplate. They're probably going to be closer to 25 to 30 MTPA of actual export capacity. Based off what they're seeing at Plaquemines, it's likely to be closer to 27, 28 MTPA. They're seeing anywhere between 30 to 40% gains, higher than nameplate, which plays into what Chris was talking about with spot prices. Obviously, you're going to be able to capture more of that than selling it to somebody else. So there's that particular piece. I think because this is moving at such a fast pace, and they just got their second facility online, I think people are starting to recognize, oh shit, these guys are actually going to be the largest in the United States after the completion of this. They'll have, at the moment, they're at about, by the end of this year, they'll be exporting on a run rate basis about 40 MTPA, which is below Cheniere. But with this, if they include this potential facility, they'll be exporting about 67 to 70 MTPA, which is the current size of Cheniere Energy. And as Chris alluded to, they have an expansion project at Plaquemines, which is supposed to be online by like 2031. And then they have the Calcasieu project number 3, which is the follow-on project after this. That's supposed to be the biggest project that they have in the portfolio. That's supposed to be about 30 MTPA nameplate. So that's 48 trains. And that, if you include the 30, 40%, is supposed to be 40% uplift, 30, 40% uplift on nameplate. It's supposed to be 42 MTPA. So bigger than that facility alone will be bigger than the current first 2 facilities combined, Calcasieu project and the Plaquemines. So once that project gets going, and that's hopefully supposed to be FID'd in 2 years' time, if that's the biggest boy that we're going to have in this portfolio. And I can guarantee when that gets up and running, that'll be where it gets crazy, because at that point we'll be aiming to get over 110 MTPA through the pipe. And then you have the 5th project, which is about a 24, 25 MTPA nameplate, and that'll hopefully get us 34-ish MTPA in terms of total. And so basically with that, you're going to have a pretty good chunk of total volume. Hopefully, if you include the Plaquemines expansion, by the mid 2030s, you're supposed to be having about 160 MTPA. That's the long-term goal. And I agree with Chris 100%. We're not trying to put rockets into space here. We're not trying to do anything that, is super complicated. Australia's been doing this since the early 2000s. Qatar's been doing this. This is what Qatar's economy is basically
since
built
the 70s.
I guess that's true, right? It just exploded really more so in the early 2000s. But you're right; it's been a long time since they've been doing this stuff. And so we're not trying to put another man on the moon with this, right? It's really, if you think about it, manufacturing, getting facilities up and running, and getting them online, and getting the contracts in the ground, and seeing where you can play with the margins. And so to me, it's like, this is is it going to 20x your portfolio? No, but what you can get is at least a couple doubles in your portfolio with this, potentially a dividend, potentially share buybacks, and you're not going to be losing sleep at night, right? Yeah. And yes, there could be something like an operational issue, a fire, something unfortunate that happens, but it's not going to be due to some sort of crazy, like, what am I trying to say here? Like, some technology just ceases to exist or work, or you're not investing in quantum computing, right? Like, or putting rockets into space, right? So
it's a proven business model.
Exactly. It's basically saying, hey, these guys are going to have a large market share of the United States export business, and it's one of the biggest exports that we have in the United States, if not will be the biggest export we have in the United States, other than services. So own it, like, other than that, I don't really have a kind of way to kind of put it. So you could be like, oh, there's no moat. You're right, but they're still going to own 50% of the market.
I'll tell you what the moat is. There's an easy moat. There's $20 billion. These facilities ain't cheap.
Yeah,
Go
no
out
doubt.
there and try to raise $20 billion. See what kind of moat you have.
Yeah.
It's not easy, especially you don't have experience. There's very few people that have enough experience that can actually like build these things and build them at scale. So, in the United States, there's about 7 to 8 different projects doing the same exact thing right now. But this the couple of differentiators that these guys have versus some of the other traditional liquefiers is, number one, the way they construct these things is that they use smaller, more modular trains. They do their own work. They're very good at execution, and they're very good at rapidly producing these things and putting them in a good place. And yeah, overall their execution is just on another level. There are other facilities, and believe it or not, we should probably talk about ET sometime in the near future. Because I mean, if you want nice compounded growth, I think ET is also another good one to look at, which is enterprise
Energy
transfer, energy transfer. I was thinking about energy products, something like
Yeah,
that. I forgot
EPD.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, these are businesses that are, like I said, toll bridges. And toll bridges are awesome because once they're built, you're just going to get cash. And that cash, you can do whatever you want with it. So if your time horizon is, hey, I don't want to look at my portfolio for the next 10 years and I want, easy money coming in, this is probably the way to go. No worrying about so many things. So
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. Like, we're presenting something to you that might not be flashy. Like, you're not going to be waking up every morning owning VG to be like, when Lambo, unless you own a lot of it, like me and Chris, then you might be like, when Lambo. But it's not going to be something that rips your face off, goes up 10x in a year like Rocket Lab and Palantir just did, right? But at the end of the day, not every investment has to be like that. We tried to provide opportunities across a multitude of different investment products because, hey, not everybody is going to be looking for hyper growth. We have people in here that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s even, that they might be looking for something like Chris provided last year, like Brookfield preferred shares,
property
which,
partners. Yep.
yeah, like that you could buy at a slight discount and have some sort of margin built in there, plus get a decent dividend yield. There might be people in here that absolutely love something like that. And so we just tried to present different opportunities. And that's not to say every time we bring up a stock, that doesn't mean necessarily we endorse it either. I think the things that you need to recognize, the things that we potentially might endorse, are things in the public portfolio, though. So that's something that you might want to consider. But also, when you think about these things, always make sure that what you are doing is right for you. Just because Chris and I are talking about something, right? Chris has done extremely well in his portfolio and can take additional risks. I'm single, and I've done really well in my portfolio. I'm in my mid-30s. I don't have people relying on me. I don't have kids, anything like that. So I can take more risk on in that respect. So, that means that I can stand to lose several $100,000 on an investment if I see it fit, right? That might not be you, right? So always just kind of keep that in mind, put things into perspective for you and make sure that you're not over levering yourself. I see people, unfortunately, all the time doing something just like that, where unfortunately they put way more in than they should have. And unfortunately, sometimes might be in the right case, but they might not have expected the volatility. And that's a piece of it as well. Stocks can be volatile. They can lose 50% more in a given time period. And unfortunately, if you sell when it's down 50%, you don't get the upside if it retraces back to where it was. Rocket Lab's a prime example of that. Palantir is a prime example of that more recently. It dropped, substantially, almost in half for both of those companies, but yet they're back close to all-time highs. And so, unfortunately, that's the name of the game. Unfortunately, when you buy individual securities, you don't have to be right just once. You have to be right multiple times. And if you panic, unfortunately, you can be left in a bad situation.
Yep. Other than that, I mean, have you been doing any research on any other companies or anything that you want to add to the portfolio? You think we're good with what we have?
I don't know, man. I was just surprised by Dutch Bros continue to do well. I think they had another fireside chat today, so I might have to do some research on what they revealed. I mean, I'm bullish on the company. I just think right now, as a, congrats to everybody that, we've been talking about Dutch Bros now.
Yeah, we spoke about
months.
Dutch Bros 2 years ago.
Yeah,
when they first IPO'd.
And so congrats to everybody that's been following that one. It's been so fun. By no means did I expected it to be one of those things where it's like, dude, it's a coffee shop. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't expecting it to blow out of the water, but I think we were starting to chat about it in this range here. It was hovering around between $25 and $30, and I started loading up when it dipped into the low 20s here, I think. And so I don't have a massive position, but I have about 1,000 shares, so it's about 75 grand. It's I think it's made its way up into the top 5 for me in terms of individual stock positions in the portfolio. So yeah, I mean, I think it's overvalued here. I wouldn't be rushing into it. I think where it dropped into the 50s during the Trump trade, I think that might have been an okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, $75 a share, that's insane. But it'll grow into it. That's the thing, is like, is it going to stay flat here? Maybe, but I think in 2-3 years time, I think $73 won't be a bad price. So I guess it really depends on what your thoughts are. To give a brief overview, they just hit 1,000 stores. They're hoping to hit 2,029 stores by 2029. Each store, they get about 2.2 million in annual unit volume. So of which they're making about 30% ops margin on. So pretty fucking good. They're about to unveil a refreshed food menu. They previously only had like muffin tops and a granola bar. That granola bar was the best thing I've probably put in my mouth. Really good. But the muffin tops, I think they're getting refreshed as well. I think they're reducing the amount of types of the muffin tops. And then they're, I think, bringing in some sandwich options as well. And I think they're also going to try to do a consumer products that go to grocery stores.
So here's the funny thing. So Dutch Bros was our foray into try the product. So basically 2 years ago, we went to Las Vegas because at the time Vegas actually had a Dutch Bros. So me, Amit, Matt, all of us, we met up in Las Vegas and we did like a field trip to a Dutch Bros. I don't know if we have that picture somewhere. Yeah, on Twitter or whatever. And basically we all just went for Dutch Bros. And we liked it. It was great, and the funny thing is what we saw was line, like in the driveway, there was just line after line of parked cars. So we knew wait a second, oh, there's something here. People really like this thing. And so because of that, we kind of said, you know what, Dutch Bros, actually, we should take a look at it. And yeah, I mean, when it IPO'd kind of strong, and then it kind of retraced, but now it's getting recognized for the value it is, and it's going higher. So, sometimes we're going to move higher, but if you look at this thing, if you look at how Starbucks was, what happens is, especially if you look at any stock chart that's done really well, it's never just a straight line up. If you focus in on certain times, you'll see these drawdowns. But the thing is, relative to its huge peak, they become so minor, So if your stock goes from let's say $5 to 100, that change from $5 to, let's say, $2.50, that's a 50% drop if your stock was only $5. At $100, if it drops to $2, it's not even you're not even gonna register that as a problem. But if it dropped $2 in its early stage, it's a problem. So the thing is, as these companies, as they scale up their businesses and they generate more profits and they generate more things, they become more valuable. That's what you kind of want to be in, right? So you want to find business models that can scale up significantly, and look at Chipotle. Chipotle, same thing. Chipotle, when IPO, what is CMG at right now?
Good question. And that's the thing. It's probably something that should be more comparable to kind of a Chipotle in terms of market. They did a split, right? Yeah. So they're at 72 billion. But these are going to be company operated stores, comparable to what Chipotle does. I think Chipotle only does company operated stores. So when you're talking about
5 years, yeah. I'm sorry. Do 5 or do the max. I just want to see.
Oh, sorry, my fault. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you can get some really good. I mean, you're talking about when you're talking about that, 30% ops profit per store, you're talking about $500,000 to $600,000 per store, right? And if you have multiple stores at that point, in this case, let's just say the ultimate goal for these guys, and granted, this is ops, right? So it's not net, so it doesn't include, sales, administrative stuff like that. But we're talking about kind of just like close to EBITDA ish. I mean, you're talking.
Can you do the max on this? Sorry, can you do the max? I want to see like where technically, like from a split adjusted basis, when it IPO'd, what was the price on it based on the
split adjusted 90 cents.
So if you think about it, that's a 53x. Right? So if you had bought it when you bought it at that time, right? It would have cost, like, let's say you put $10,000, right? That $10,000 would be worth $530,000 today. That is the power of a growing franchise business. Insane.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, going to kind of what I was thinking about with the bros. I mean, if you think you could be able to walk away with $500,000 a store, multiply that by 4,000 stores, you're talking about $2 billion of ops cash that you're getting into the store. And so what is that worth? $2,000, you multiply that by a 15x? Do you multiply that by a 20x multiple? Especially if there's a lot of brand loyalty and love, I mean, you're talking about at that point a pretty good opportunity, and they're not going to need all $2 billion to be able to continue to grow stores, right? I mean, they might grow up to 300 stores a year, so that might be $300 million a year that they have to kind of put out for capex. So that leaves a lot of opportunity for potential dividends, a lot of potential opportunity for buybacks, to which, you reduce the share count, it'll be beneficial for everybody. So it kind of just gets you to think, like, what could bros eventually be? And to me, I was kind of thinking it could be a $30 billion company, and if you start thinking about, okay, well, how long is it going to get there? That I don't know. And so that's kind of where I'm like sitting here being like, I think it's already at 12 billion. Yeah. $12 billion market cap. So if you think you could go to 30, you're only a third of the way there. You're getting to the point now where you're way EBITDA positive, right? So we're not talking about like lack of GAAP profitability or anything at this point. You're at that place. What you need to worry about, because this is a business where you're talking about opening more and more stores, you're worried about, is your company free cash positive? And I think that's mostly why the stock has jumped, is because it's gotten to a place where it's getting to be cash flow break even. And so now the thought is endless. Like, what do you do with that excess cash? Yes, there's some debt, but that debt's not that big. Like, they don't have too much debt. So, I mean, we're not talking about billions upon billions of dollars worth of debt. So at this point, it's like they could easily just start to chip away at that debt. And once they're done with that debt, like I said, what is next? Dividends, buybacks. So it's a very profitable business. So I think it'll be interesting to see where potentially it goes. But what else have I been looking at, man? I mean, other than that,
I don't know. I mean, the key is just, I mean, that's one of the businesses that I like. Franchises that can really take off and become like staples, and if you buy them early enough, like I said, I was eating Chipotle. It never occurred to me like, hey, why don't you just buy some stock in Chipotle?
Yeah.
And then it was always like, it's too expensive. And now I'm like, man, I wish I had bought some damn shares in CMG
Chipotle
back in 2013.
It really just depends, man. I mean, other than that, in terms of stock, like, I haven't been doing too much thoughts on stock. I've just been adding to Next, VG, Rocket Lab, Bitcoin. That's really it. The thing that I've really been in a rut about, and I actually did a live stream yesterday in lieu of Emit not doing a market close. I'm really just trying to think, like, what's next for me? Like, what am I going to do to get myself on the next leg up? Like, yes, there's just sitting around and waiting and continue to do what I have been doing, and that's worked out well. But I'm trying to figure out some sort of business, right, that I can either contribute to or grow that has a life of its own, And whether that's still Airbnbs and maybe I'm just overcomplicating it, or maybe it is just continuing to invest in the portfolio, or maybe it's just taking more time to do more YouTube and grow that business, as competitive as it is, then so be it. But I'm just kind of trying to figure out the next opportunity. I'm kind of stuck in a rut right now, trying to understand.
Or enjoy your life. Or enjoy your life. Take a break, man. Go on vacation. When's the last time you actually went on a proper vacation?
That's another piece of it. I have been feeling a little burnt out, and so I've been trying to get out to Mexico or something. And yeah, I need to plan something to just.
Like I said, let me know. I don't mind going on a weekend foray to Mexico. I'm down.
not taking a weekend, man. I need more than a weekend.
4 days, whatever. I can't do more than 4 days because, like, dude, it's too much. My brain will melt down. I'm supposed to be going to Mexico with my wife and our friends. Like we have like 3 trips that we do per year. We do one summer trip, usually to like Florida, where we go to like or some kind of beach trip. Another one where we do a cabin trip in like in November around like our area and here in the Southeast. And then I think one international trip. I don't think we've gone into an international trip in a little bit because they have kids, but now the kids are a little older. So now we're probably going to end up seeing if we could eventually go back to doing that again. So yeah, it's you need to go, bro. You need to just go travel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much time you want to talk about it, but I've been looking at, there's some great places in Nicaragua, and I love cigars. Costa Rica, there's some dope places in the coast of Costa Rica. El Salvador is another, although it's not as resort-like, but it's getting better, and it's cheap. So El Salvador is a piece. There's actually, I was talking about this in one of my group, or maybe one of the community group chats, so y'all just say, and I was talking about Roatan, Honduras. There's like an island in the Gulf called Roatan, and that seemed pretty dope as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of places.
Have you been to Iceland?
Have you been to Iceland?
Bro, Iceland is good. Someone had brought it up in the chat. Yeah, you can see the Aurora Borealis
I'd like
from Iceland if you go in September. It's really cool. It's a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, you're right, man. Alaska's dope as shit too. I wouldn't mind going up to Alaska again. I only did it the one time. It was for a job interview, unfortunately, or fortunately. They paid for me to go, so it was very fortunate in that respect. But I had interviews like very late Friday evening and very early Monday, so I was afraid to go get like lost in like Alaska, and obviously Alaska is not really a place you want to get lost in general. So yeah, I unfortunately wasn't able to get out of the hotel much. My hope was that they would schedule me like Thursday, Friday, and I could stay until like Monday evening and go somewhere like Saturday, Sunday, Monday in Alaska. But I still was able to get around Anchorage, and Anchorage is a beautiful town. It was awesome. Just a real cool place to.
Brother, you've made it to the level where most people don't make it, like before their retirement. Okay. Enjoy your life. You got one life. Go out there, enjoy, man. When I was in my 20s, I was
yes, but yes, it's easy to sit back and say that, but at the same time, you and I both know that with where I'm at, it's also not a lot, right? It's enough to give you a taste of what independence is like, but it's not enough to guarantee independence forever. If you see what I'm saying.
I think, brother, I'm telling you, I think you're putting yourself in a position where you think that you're gonna need way more. I mean, once you get out of the States, man, believe it or not, it's not that expensive. Okay. And it'll get your mind off of this thing. Like, I think a lot of times when I look at my mistakes in the past, when it comes to investing, it's because I've had nothing to do. And so I'm like, oh, let me find the next 5 bagger. Instead of just saying, screw it, leave the shit that I have, let me go live my life.
Chris, I see what you're saying, but like, I don't want to look at United's fucking flight tables of when I can go somewhere.
You want to fly private? Is that the goal?
So, yeah, that's kind of, what I'm getting at. It's like, I don't want to be like, for example, this is something that pisses me off. The United is like, we can either get you there at 7 a.m., so you have to be at the office or be at the airport by 5 a.m. And I'm like, well, that means I have to take that whole day off of work. Or it's like, or we could get you there at 11:59 p.m. And I'm like, come on, man. You know what I mean? So I can't even enjoy that day at all. So simple stuff like that, where it just like super frustrates me, where it's like, if I just had a little bit more, a little bit more sprinkle, a little bit more salt and pepper on top, it could change things a little bit. But I know I'm being greedy at that extent as well. So,
look, to be honest with you, the best times I've ever had on vacation or going somewhere, it's not the places, it's not the most expensive things. It's been the company that you have and the company you've gone there with. I've been to the most expensive resorts, and if you're there with, basically people you're not exactly like, too dead set to be on, it's the most boring experience ever. Like, okay, I'll give you an example of something that I really, really enjoyed. My wife, and our friends, we went to Iceland, and we were doing this thing called the Ring Road. The Ring Road, it's basically in Iceland. You have this ring road, you drive around it all the way. And they had some kind of like massive issue, where we couldn't actually go around the entire ring road. So we ended up having to like do an overnight Airbnb, and so we could go back to Reykjavik. Bro, we had oodles and noodles. And basically it was my wife, our friends, their kids, and we just stayed at like one Airbnb. There was like 3 bedrooms. It was like some kind of side guest room of some guy. He had a black dog that humped my leg. Everyone still laughs to this day about the dog was in love with me for some reason. One of our friends, she ended up mailing like a postcard to me from Iceland with a dog picture on it. I still have it somewhere. But the point is, that experience that we had with just eating noodles in the middle of an Airbnb in Iceland, for, in some guy's guest house. That's the thing that I remember the most about Iceland. I don't even remember like that we stayed in some fancy hotel. I think it was like $500 or $600 a night. Like, it was a really, really fancy thing. I don't remember what I ate that morning, but I remember the taste of those noodles that we got from there. So honest to God, it doesn't matter if you go and you're like, yeah, fly first class or business class to blah, blah, blah. But bro, like most of the time you're going to be sleeping anyway. But hey, I still remember me and my brother, he's my brother-in-law, but he was also my best man at my wedding. We were flying back from Vegas to Atlanta. Had a great time with him. We were just chilling. We were chilling at the airport, drinking. I got high in Vegas. I don't smoke a lot of weed or anything like that, but he was like, he's a pothead for sure. So he was like, hey man, let's go get some weed. And I'm like, bro, I don't smoke a lot. Man, he got me some crazy weed in Vegas. And yeah, we had a good time.
Well, any weed would be crazy to me. I don't smoke, so
let me show. Let me see if I have a picture of my bachelor party. I'll show you, not the messed up parts, but I didn't. So during my bachelor party, I'll tell you, we were supposed to go to the Golden Nugget. Bro, I got so freaking hammered before I literally didn't make it past the entrance to the Golden Nugget because I got drunk that bad and they wouldn't let me in. And so I went to the bathroom and I started throwing up and I passed out in the bathroom at the Golden Nugget. Okay. And there's some other things, but I'll keep those to myself. But let me tell you, man, let me see if I have, oh God, those are good times.
Speaking of it, are you doing Vegas again this year I think Mitt said he was going to do Vegas in October for his birthday again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down to go and travel.
Are you bringing Boss Lady this time or not?
Probably not.
No, she hates me. She really hates me that much, huh?
It's not you, man. It's just there's certain
it's
things.
It's not you, it's me. She doesn't want to be on vacation with Party Chris.
No, just this. Okay, so I even told this to her too. Like, I'm not from Atlanta. Okay, I'm from New York. All my friends that I grew up with and everything else, they're all in New York.
Yeah.
There are certain things that you want to just do with the boys. You want to just go hang out with the boys. You don't want to. It's not that I don't like my wife. Of course, I love my wife, but I want to just go and enjoy some time with to hang out with the guys. Like she did that too. She went with her friends to like Denver about a month ago. She just went. She hung out with her friends and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes you just need time away, and you just need to be your own person. If it's, I would prefer like to do a boys trip somewhere. It's just like, hey guys, what are you doing? Nothing. Okay, let's go. Leave the ball and chain at home for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting lost somewhere, man. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Like I said, you want to go to Mexico, you let me know which weekend. We'll book something.
All right. I know Tevis wants to go too.
Tevis always wants to go.
Maybe we can get Tanner.
Let's go.
Maybe we can get a couple people going.
Bro, that's
Tanner doesn't work anymore. We can get him to go whenever the hell.
That's the thing about us guys, bro. Guys, we're terrible at planning shit. Like we're easy to plan, but we're terrible at just executing. Like I've had this problem with some of my like friends here. I'll be like, let's go camping. And motherfuckers will be like, yeah, let's go camping. And then no one ever reaches out. There's no follow through. Hey, boy, like when are we going camping? What's going on this year? Are we going camping? Like never. We all sit around in a group talking about, hey man, let's go camping. It'd be fun. Let's go on this trail, bro. But not one of them is like, yo, I got the beer. Not one of them's like, I got the tent. Let's go.
Right.
Next Thursday. Girls, they're much better at planning. They're like, literally, they plan freaking everything from the ground all the way to the top. They're like, we're going to meet Tuesday over here to discuss what we're going to do on Wednesday to do this. And then we're going to fly. And then, bro, they got their itinerary set. They got this, that, and the other thing. That's the terrible thing. But you know what? Guys, we fucking need to go and do more boys trips, man. Definitely need to do more boys trips. My wife does all the planning with the vacations and stuff. I barely do it, but yeah, my wife does all the planning. I know, Zoe. We're just like I said, it's guys. Trips. It's really hard, huh?
People are trying to get free trips, so they said they'll plan it. We just gotta.
You know what? While we're streaming right now, call Tevis. Do you have his number?
We're in trouble now.
Let's see. Do I have his WhatsApp? Let me call him. 1 second. Be like, yo, what are you doing?
Why do you hate us?
No, you know what? You call him. I don't have him here somewhere. He's got a Canada number.
Unavailable.
Son of a bitch. What is that?
You ignore my call, sir?
Call him again.
Call him again.
He might be with a girl, but it don't matter. Boys trips come first. I'm surprised it doesn't have like a Canada ring. I thought the Canadians have a different ring.
It's WhatsApp.
Okay, let's see.
Man, he really hates me.
No one hates you, man.
I know.
Let me call
Tanner. Tanner said Tanner's in the chat now. Tanner, what's going on? We were literally. Are you calling me too?
I called Amit.
Everybody blanking us, man. What the hell?
I mean, it is 11. It's 11:30 at night. Bro.
Oh shit!
Tanner's in the chat. Tanner, we're going to Mexico.
Yeah.
All right.
That's literally what we're talking about. We're literally talking. Yeah, Tanner, you call. We're going to Mexico, man, and we need you.
Tanner, come online. Send Tanner the link. I want to promote Tanner's new. Well, the thing is, Tanner quit his job and now he's doing YouTube full time. So
I know,
Tanner, you've got time. Dude. You could do this shit from the beach. Let's go.
You can.
We'll post it on there. Now all these randos are gonna join, man.
That's fine. I'm the one that controls it anyway.
That's a good point. All right. Amit is live.
He's too cool for us.
Amit is live. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's too cool. He got invited to AIP Con 7, top secret. Nobody else was invited.
Good for him.
Yeah. It is good for him. I like giving him shit.
He's live.
I guess so many people gave him crap about Tanner. I don't know if Tanner's got to do his makeup. Oh, give him a minute. He's got to put pants on. Yeah.
By the way, I've never put on pants during the stream. I've always been in my underwear.
Oh no, I'm in my boxers right now.
Yeah, you can't see the bottom half.
Yeah, 100%. So, Amit's not live anymore. Well, and then I guess he does his status, or he's getting dinner or something because, well, I guess it's only what 8:30 over there? Is he? He's.
I'm gonna call him and be. I'm gonna call him and be like, get Carp's cock out of your mouth, man.
Oh no! Don't say
He's
that.
out there right now, just
Oh man,
jerking Carp off. Be like, yes, daddy.
Hey,
Yes,
man.
daddy.
I would love to pick his brain about just normal stuff, like, because he's a philosopher, right? So I would love to hear his thoughts about, like, he would just, you know, how it was he's like, Matt, he'd probably just like, Matt, stop being a pussy, just like what you're saying. He's like, stop being a pussy, just go travel. Who's stopping you?
Yeah.
No, Chris is jacked. Chris would beat my
No,
ass.
I'm not jacked at all.
Chris would beat my ass in an arm wrestling contest.
So funny story. Me and my wife were at Kroger this weekend going shopping, and I was like trying to be like He-Man, like, yeah, I could take all the groceries and shit. So I took all the groceries, and I brought them up to my condo and stuff, and I didn't realize that I might have actually hurt myself. So then the day after, I slept on my right hand because I'm a side sleeper, so I slept like this, and my shoulder, dude, I woke up in the morning, it was excruciatingly pain. And so I was like, Mom, babe, why don't you rub my shoulder? And she'd like put some tiger balm on it, and it was awesome. And then the next day I slept on my left. Are you calling Tevis?
Oh, he's gonna show me. I was about to freak out. If you called him and he answered, I would have never let him live it down. First of all, Tanner, congratulations on becoming a YouTuber full time. I had no clue, and I heard you've been doing this for 6 months. I didn't know.
Yeah. I personally, so I was a financial advisor before, and I was looking for a way out ever since like Chat GPT. Like once I saw that come out, I was like, oh, knowledge work is done. I'm going to be replaced. And YouTube was doing well, and markets were rocketing. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take the jump, and it's done well. So
hold on. Amit got Carp's nutsack out of his mouth. He called, hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Bro, what's up, man? I'm literally just seeing your text message. I was fucking about the whole day.
Yeah? Well, listen, you're live right now on YouTube, okay? I just said that Carp finally let you go from his session, right?
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, everyone can hear you.
Oh.
Yeah, I got Matt here, I got Tanner here, and it's me. Listen, we're doing a boys trip, okay? And we're not going to be one of those types of people that just says we're going to do a boys trip. We got to plan it out, and we're just going to go, all right? So, Mexico, you down to go? You got your passport?
Why Mexico, though?
This guy, just go with it, bro. Stop asking questions.
Where you want to go? It's got to be international. How about that? Where you want to go? Tanner,
Mexico.
How about you? Yeah. Oh, he can't hear me.
It would be fun.
Yeah, he can't hear you because my headphones are in.
Yeah, I forgot about
Yeah, so where do you want to go? Hold on, let me turn off my headphones. There we go.
You vote Mexico, Tanner?
oh yeah. I've never
All right,
been.
so we're going to Mexico. I'm sorry, you've been ruled. So
No, we're going to India.
we're not going to India, bro. We're not going to the GAM. Okay,
Man, my
can't
fat
do
ass
that.
can't be walking around India. I'm sweating like a motherfucker.
I can't do it anymore, bro. I'm not going to do it. Okay, but seriously, we're going to do a trip to Mexico. Are you down?
Wait, it can't be this summer. There's no way I'm doing it this summer.
Bro, just go with it, all right?
They have Shirley
out.
Temples.
I'm telling you, there's no way it's possible. Like September, maybe.
Look at this guy. He's so important. You want to go in September?
No, it's not that. It's my freaking grandparents are home for the next 2 months. I already left them for a week. Yes.
That's true. All right, and then you can't
leave Auntie alone.
Stuff going in August.
Auntie
Okay, we'll plan it out. We'll plan it out another time. So we'll get that situation done. All right.
Did you know that the guy I was sitting next to on the flight was watching Tanner's YouTube video?
Really?
Yeah, literally pulled up Tanner's YouTube video, and I texted him a picture like, bro, someone's watching your video in front of me.
You should have said hi to the guy. Did you say hi to the guy?
Yeah, like he works ironically he works at Palantir, right? But it was the first time I was meeting him on the flight. We just happened to have the same flights together, but like I'm chilling and I just see him through the corner of my eye pop up Tanner's new video about Robinhood. I'm like, oh, there you go.
All right.
Yeah, them junkies, man. They're global.
All right, brother. Well, we'll let you get back to doing your thing with Dr. Carp. All right. Have a good one.
I'm tuning into Cashflow Chronicles right now. I didn't know you're live. I'm going right now.
All right, you want to join us? We're on StreamYard.
I can't join, but I'm gonna watch. I just got done with Steve just now, and I'm about to head out.
Okay, sounds good. Later,
this
dude.
was Amit's creepy photo taking a picture of this dude, but he was watching my video here.
Yeah, Amit's just creepily taking photos from people. He's got the Seagrams though. He knows what he's doing on an airplane.
Yeah.
So
no, but I didn't even know that you guys were talking about planning a trip. I was just sitting with my girlfriend. We were watching Love Island, and I was like, I need an escape from this. So saw you guys were live, and
yes,
he's like, "Yay,
yes.
my boy toy can finally watch Love Island with
office.
me." And you're like, "I gotta go."
So Tanner, you're definitely down to come to Mexico. Tevis, I'm sure, is going to be down to come. When are you free this summer?
Yeah, well, I don't know why I'm escaping. So the timing is weird too. Why would I leave to go to Mexico in the summer? I'd rather go in winter months.
It's true.
Like, it's Mexico. You go whenever.
Really
Mexico.
Yeah, but I got good weather here already.
Where in Canada?
Yeah,
Canada's good weather.
Yeah, in the summer. Yeah. This is like winter for Florida right now. That's kind of what it is.
All right.
I don't know what it is in
see what I'm saying, chat? You see what I'm saying with the guy who, I can't do the summer in Mexico because it's so nice here in Canada. Just go with it, Tanner. Come on. You said you like Mexico. Why do we have to have this? Do it. All right. So where would you like to go, Tanner?
I'd love to go to Mexico, like between the times of September to
Everyone's gonna come up. Everyone's gonna come up with their damn requirements. See, this is why you can't do guys trips. You know, it's like I can't go there because they don't have a summer lager like I like.
Yeah.
To be fair, when I went with Tevis in February of 2024, they had just gotten like a foot of snow, and he was just like, "Thank effing God,
yeah,
I'm out of Canada right now." So
that's the time for Canadians to go. I mean, it gets awful here, so it's such a good escape.
Okay, do you guys want to go to Iceland then? Have you been to Iceland?
No. What is in Iceland?
Oh my God. Iceland is awesome, dude. It's where they did Game of Thrones, like all the recording for Game of Thrones for the North. That's where it is. There's like so many things, man. I'm not gonna go into every single little thing, but there's just a lot of things that are there, you know. Damn it, man. There's so many things in Iceland. Where else can like guys go on like a boys trip? You want to go to Denver? Ever been to Denver?
No.
It's like Canada. But
I want to do that.
But nicer. It's nicer.
No, Mexico sounds awesome. I mean, it does. It's just when we want to go, I think.
Are you bringing the boss lady, or is the boss lady staying home?
Yeah, I mean, she would want to come.
Yeah.
Why are you gonna bring the ball and chain, bro? Leave them. That's the point of a boys trip. You can't say boys trip and then bring your girl with you. I'm sure she'd understand.
If I could just talk her up a little bit, she just recently quit her job.
Congrats to her. Congrats to her.
She's doing her own like side thing as well now, and so
we're fully. Or what's the deal?
Sorry,
Feet finder, or just it's bad.
No,
joke.
Yeah. No.
That's a bad joke. I'm sorry. Chris didn't like it. I'm sorry.
She does social media content.
That's awesome.
Stuff like this.
Awesome.
So she's creating an ad agency. That's really
awesome.
what she's doing. Yeah.
Feel free to plug it. I don't want to, if you want.
No. I've got nothing to plug.
Okay.
Got nothing to plug.
There you go.
Have you guys been on a cruise? Have you guys want to go on a cruise?
I've never done the cruise. I haven't.
We should do a cruise out of Texas. It'd be fun. Like, doesn't even take that long. Maybe I could convince you to buy some Carnival and Norwegian stock.
I'd also be down for a cruise.
Yeah,
I would be.
Okay.
Too.
Yeah, I mean that's my type of vacation is chilling.
Okay.
Me too.
Right.
I'm not like let's go hike. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not the hiking type, as you would assume.
I don't want to parasail. Fuck that. I want to sit and drink.
There you go.
There's plenty of sitting and drinking on a cruise ship. That's pretty much all you'd really do. But we could go to really fun destinations.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we would figure out which of these cruises we want to do. Because they can take you to all different types of places.
Can I get your guys' maybe you already covered it. I'm sure you have. We're already an hour and 30 in, but what was the take on the Elon Trump stuff? Is this going to blow over, or
it seems choreographed?
but
it doesn't at the same time.
That seems choreographed.
I mean, that was going to come out anyway, right?
I mean, yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It seems like it.
There's no choreography.
No, you don't think so?
You can't choreograph getting told Trump is in the Epstein files. If that comment wasn't there, I'd say maybe there's a good possibility that this was choreographed to basically get some other end goals out there. But dude, when he said the reason why they're not releasing the Epstein files is because Trump is in them, bro, that's it. That's scorched earth. Like there's no coming back from something like that, you know?
But is that surprising to you too?
No.
What?
Trump's in the files? No.
I mean, I'm sure Trump is mentioned on there. I don't doubt, but do I think that Trump like flew to a private island to have sex with like little girls? Like, no, I don't think that's.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that he was at the island, but to be engaged in what I guess people are now going to try to associate him with, I think he'll get acquitted of all that. But
yeah. I mean, if you want someone like dead to rights guilty, it's like Prince Albert, like that dude. Yes. Bro, the way that he's coming off right now, that dude was there. He was doing what he was, what they're saying. But as far as Trump, I don't think so. I don't think that's his thing.
Oh, they have a phone call? Did you know this, Tanner? They have a phone call in the morning?
Who, Trump and Elon?
Yeah, I heard that Elon tweeted recently that they're going to try to make amends, that they're already ending it, which does fit into maybe it was a little staged. I don't know, but
that was quick. That was quick.
Yeah, I mean, a couple tweets online, your stock goes down 15%. I mean, that's got to be rough. So, but this is why I don't touch Tesla. This is why I recently just sold. Like, I mean, I don't know what else spells key man risk to a guy that has so much online presence that a couple tweets can take away hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap. I mean, that is all time scary.
Insane. And it's not the first time, right? I mean,
not the first time, no. But I think it was their second largest down day. Yeah. Was a day with no negative Tesla news. I mean, that is terrible.
So because of the risk of that, you wouldn't be buying, even if it went to $150, $200, you wouldn't be buying.
Well, I mean, there's a price. There is a price that I would, I like Tesla's mission. I even like Elon Musk. But I'm also a fan of other companies that have better valuations. I think that there's a massive premium to Tesla stock right now in everything going right. But if he starts getting in fights with Trump, I don't know how that affects robotaxi, legalization, if you want to call it that. But Nvidia right now, I still think has a massive runway. And I think talks with China right now are not going to make a worse environment for Nvidia. I only see positive coming from this point. So I think there's another leg for that company to go. And like, guys, the bulk of my portfolio right now, like 42% is on Nvidia.
Wow, you must be doing.
Are you ever worried that maybe the cyclical part of the business eventually slows down and that causes it to kind of come down to earth a little bit? You think that's a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think really what I'm banking on, if you even look at the deals that Meta or Microsoft have been putting up, like I think that the investment cycle is going to be really long this time. I could be wrong, but I think for the next 24 months, that's where a large amount of my investment is going to be. And then I'm going to start to trim some of my gains.
Mr.
I don't want it to get to over 50%. But
hold on, Tevis is calling.
Why were you ignoring my calls? You're on live with a couple hundred people listening, and Tanner and Chris.
Hey, what's up, guys? I wasn't ignoring your calls, man. It just went to silent.
You what?
What's going on? It just went to silent. My phone
went to silent. Right. Well, it sounds like you're sleeping.
Sound like
Tevis. We going to Mexico, Tevis?
They want to know if we're going to Mexico. That's why we're calling. We're trying to get the boys and rally the boys together live on stream.
Let's do it. I'm down.
See, you gotta convince your boy Tanner over here. He's like, we need to go during winter, and which I agree. You guys got to get out of there during winter, but we can go on a second trip in Mexico.
I've been trying to convince Tanner for a long time.
Oh, so what's the holdup, Mr. Tanner? Is it me?
I'm down.
To get out of the country.
Nah, I know what it is. Tanner's that type of dude that says he's down for everything, but never actually executes, bro. That's the thing. See, Tevis is ride or die.
He's like, I don't know how I can.
Tevis is like, let's just go. You know,
Yeah,
whereas
Travis
Tanner's
is like, let's go. That's what Chris said. Then there's just saying that Tanner's that kind of guy that just
I
wants.
mean, who came to Vegas? It was Tevis. Tevis came to Vegas.
Yeah, Tevis
You got me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
drop me his stream.
oh, okay, all right. I'll talk to you in a second.
Is he coming on?
He's coming up. He sounded like he was sleeping. Hopefully, you don't wake him up.
Yeah, he probably is.
He's a sleepy baby. He's a working boy again.
He is. He's a hard worker. I'm lazy and you know.
I was hoping
do
he
anything
would.
compared to what
I was hoping he was gonna kick it off like you did with his YouTube and just go full time, and I would just ride your guys' coattails forever and slowly just get one subscriber a day from each of you.
I told Tevis, like I think what he's doing on YouTube is good, but he has such a great career right now that
he does.
What does he do? What does Tevis do?
He's a product manager for. Well, I don't. I'll
don't
actually
say
let him
company.
say,
Just
He does a good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he just needed a break from his previous person, and now he's working again, so he's doing a good job. But anyway, yeah, so it'd be dope to get. But sorry, I cut in with because Tevis called, and you were talking about NVIDIA, so that's my fault.
I was just going to say, I think Gen AI, we're not even finished there. I think that there's going to be massive advancements there. Obviously, you guys have heard this pitch a bunch, but I just think the massive investment for agentic AI and then autonomous driving, humanoid robotics, that's absolutely insane. And I don't have to pick a winner. I just have to pick the main chip company. And I definitely don't want to be buying AMD or one of these businesses.
Stop switching the topic. We're trying to talk about Mexico. You're talking.
Bro, that was
that's my boy. That's my boy. That's right. That's my boy. All right.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Mute him. He's the heretic. Mute him. Tevis, you're my boy. Let's go.
Yeah, when are we going? Let's do it.
Before we start picking these stupid stock winners, let's pick a destination winner, okay? Tevis, we're going to Mexico, all right?
Hey, so the first time I met Tevis, he told me there's this great company that nobody knows of.
Oh,
shit! You need to buy. And I was like, oh my God, what is it?
Is it SoFi? Is it SoFi?
And it was trading for like $7.85 to $8.15 a share. And I was like, Tevis is like, what stock? He's like, let's look at this. He's like, what stocks you got in here? He's like, you got fucking Pepsi in here?
Bro, Chris,
he
sold Pepsi to buy SoFi and he flipped it. And I think he sold SoFi at like $14. So it worked out for him. Pepsi is still at the same price it probably was 2 years ago.
Good for him. That's right.
Money. I'm actually really upset because Tanner did a really good job covering the fireside chat yesterday. And I was hoping the stock would somehow crater today. And unfortunately, the exact opposite happened. Because SoFi is actually going to do well, right? Like we can all agree.
I don't think Chris agrees.
They're probably going to make it into the index tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, back to Mexico. We got to convince Tanner.
Okay, so we've chosen a destination. When do we go?
So let's go first week of July because it's a day off for you guys on the 6th and a day off for us on the 1st.
See what I'm saying? This is why Tevis, you're my hero, bro. This is how it's done. Okay, so July, let's go. I'm looking right now at some flights.
All right, hold on, let me look.
Chris, where have you been in Mexico?
Cancun. We've been. Was at a yeah. Let's see. Or Dominican Republic is fine too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Google flights.
Tanner's just like, how do I get out of this?
No, I'd love to go to Mexico. I've never been. So I've been to a few of those islands like Jamaica. I guess you guys.
Where in Canada where in Mexico do you want to go? Cancun?
Cancun.
Okay. So let's see.
I was looking so I don't know if Tulum Airport yet has enough flights where it makes sense to fly into Tulum Airport.
Chris, are you bullish Google?
Yeah, long term, but
okay.
That's not the point. Stop trying to change the subject. We're going on vacation. All right? We're going on vacation. We're not buying Google. We are going on vacation. Tanner, are you going to come or are you going to chicken out?
Yes, bro. Dude, I'm down. I'm down.
All right, good. There you go. So now we just got to find a flight. So what dates were you talking about,
Pretty
Tevis?
cheap.
So we have the 1st off, and then you guys have the 6th off. It depends on how long you guys want to be there. If you want like just a 4-day trip, it's going to be different than something longer.
Okay. So let's see.
There's a train?
Hold on.
I don't think there's a train, is there?
What, from Texas to Mexico?
No, somebody was saying from the Cancun airport to Tulum. I don't think there's a train.
No.
I think they were talking about building a train, but I don't think there is one. But yes, so Tavis and I, the first time we went to Riviera Maya, that was dope. So that's a little bit south of Cancun. Then there's Cancun, which is like the party zone, right? So that's kind of like on its own little secluded island. Last time when we went to Playa Mujeres, which is kind of the northern part of Cancun. So you're still flying to Cancun for all 3 of these destinations, by the way.
Yeah.
And then there's all the way down to Tulum, which is south. There's Akumal, which is a little bit ahead of Tulum.
Which resort did you guys stay at?
We did Paradisus the first time. The second time we did, what was the second one called, Hot Tev?
Dude, I have no idea.
I forget.
I can check my email for you. We can
I
also
stayed at the Crystal before, which is the cheapest, I think, Cancun resort. It's actually still dope as shit though.
This is where
Paradisus.
This is where we stayed. Like when me and the wife went. It's called it's called TRS. It was awesome. Like the experience was great, but it was a little pricey. But I'll be honest, it was really nice.
You got that Patel money, you're good.
This guy. Yeah, but it's really nice. And yeah.
I'm up for any of it, man. I just need to get out.
Yes,
Take
I
a
agree.
nap.
How about this? Okay, let's skip Mexico for just a second. Okay, let's actually just fly to Texas and hang out with Matt for a weekend. I haven't been to Texas in like so long, and that's like a really easy flight for me. It's probably an easy flight for you guys, and there's probably a lot of things we could do in San Antonio. So let's go to San Antonio. What do you think?
Yeah, San Antonio, Austin,
go fly into Houston, or we can fly into San Antonio. We'll hang out with you, Matt. You know, it's right there for you. We can get Matt. What's his name? Dougie Dallas. To come in.
Yeah, we got Dougie. We got a lot of people here in Tejas.
Roy.
You got
Roy is there. Okay, so Texas. Let's do Texas for the weekend. That's easy to do.
We just each get housed by one of Matt's properties. We can all get one of each a house, and then that'll be fine.
Sorry, I'm staying with Matt. All right, because he's my co-host on Cashflow Chronicles.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good cuddle buddy.
Yeah. I do have a king size bed, and then I have a queen. I can get a trundle bed for you and Tevis for this office. I can put it somewhere behind me. Just kidding.
What's a trundle bed?
All right. So which weekend would be fun for you, Matt, for us to come?
All right. Up on a trundle.
I've never.
Neither did I until I started buying houses and putting fucking people in them. It's
what's a
basically
good weekend, Matt?
Couch with a pillow.
Feel, and this might be off, but how do you guys feel about the weekend of the 4th, like the 4th of July weekend? Because my birthday's on that weekend.
Okay,
I'm all about it.
You down to do it in Texas?
Yeah, I'm down, man.
Okay,
I thought we were going to Mexico. What the hell?
Nah, we'll do Mexico another time. The only reason why I say that is because let's just hang out right now to do something low key, and then we could plan out Mexico while we're there.
Okay.
All right. So July 4th is so which weekend? You want to do the weekend before July 4th or the weekend of July 4th?
Weekend of, I think, it's Tevi's.
Yeah.
Because July 4th is a Friday. July 4th is a Friday. So we'd have to fly in there, like, let's say Thursday night. And then we could hang out on Friday, Saturday, and then fly out on Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, we got lots of people here in Tejas. We got Ray, we got Michelle, Dougie Dallas.
Okay, so Matt, so Tevis, you're down, right? So for that weekend,
you think you get a Mitt during staying in America, or you think he's staying at home?
What, Amit? He might have like some
Miami or something. I know he's got other things planned for July.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
he's getting busy.
I know. CEO, AK Media.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I can't make fun of him for too much longer because you're about to be there. You're at 40,000 subscribers, man.
Yeah, I'm nowhere. It's crazy, man. I used to think I was comparable to Amit. The guy's actually famous, like genuinely famous. It doesn't feel like that sometimes, like hanging out with him, like he's a normal guy. But
that's because we've known him since he was a normal guy. Like,
I know.
The thing is, I've known Amit since he had like 5,000 subs. Like, it's not like, oh my God, like I knew this guy. Like now that he's famous, I'm gonna, like be like ooh and ah. To me, he's just a normal guy.
No, of course, but I still think like he's found a lot of success on X, and obviously these things. It's admirable.
So he has the AK Media. What's your media company called, Tanner? It's got it's legit. Okay, good. Oh, is he pulling out the Robin Hood merch? Let's do it.
Creator.
That's what they put me down as. Future Investing Media.
FIM. I like it.
Let's see.
Bubbles Media. Why Bubbles Media? That doesn't make any sense.
Because I'm wearing glasses and that's it.
Oh,
blonde guy wearing glasses. I've heard Ned Flanders. I've heard Bubbles.
Dude,
I've heard.
I don't know.
You know which one gets me is the Incredibles, the teacher that Jack puts a thumbtack on his chair. No. Here, wait 1 sec. I'll bring up the picture.
Matt, I'm booking my flight right now. All right, July 4th weekend, Thursday. Let's see.
I'm still pushing for Mexico.
We'll do that another time, man.
So I'm actually looking at some packages, and there's actually a solid deal on the 22nd of June for a week for Mexico, for Cancun.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Yeah. What's the hotel?
The hotel is Rio Cancun. It's a 5-star hotel.
Oh, the Rio's good. I've never seen that before.
All right, send us the details. Let's make it happen then.
That's on the 22nd.
All right, 22nd to.
Tanner. Are you pulling it up? Did you miss it?
Oh yeah, I can. Sorry.
Yeah.
So when is it? 20. Sorry.
It's for 7 days, so through the 29th.
So 22nd through the 29th.
Yeah.
Gee, damn, that's a lot of. That's a long time, man.
I mean, we got a lot of investing stuff to talk about.
That's what everyone's calling me these days.
Yo, what's his name?
I don't know what his name is. It's just he's the substitute teacher.
Yo. Oh God. I don't know why that's so funny, but I was not expecting that. Well, anyway, we can continue this conversation offline. I am excited that both of you joined, Mr. Tanner, Mr. Tevis, and as always, Mr. Patel. Please follow them. Let me give them one last. There's Mr. Patel. Sorry, go ahead.
We've had this song and dance before, man. If we don't book it literally on a StreamYard, we won't book it. That's
all right. So give me the details. Send me the details. I'll book it.
Record, all right.
Just give me the details. I will book it. I'm a ride or die. Okay.
I'm going crazy.
I'm not gonna Tanner out on us. Okay. I'm not gonna pull a Tanner. That's what's called. That's what we're gonna call it. Committing to something with the intention that you're never actually gonna follow through. That's called being a Tanner. That's what a Tanner is. Okay.
You know what? Because whenever you said book on this StreamYard, I was like, I got people to ask. I got things. I got to double check it.
Listen, I have a full-time W-2 job. Okay, I have a wife. I'm not asking any of them. I'm just gonna book it, and I'll ask for forgiveness later. That's my strategy, right? Okay. Tevis is the same. Tevis has got a full-time job, but he's like, screw it. If I gotta go to Mexico for 7 days, I'm going.
You think I asked my boss for this? I'm just gonna book it, and I say I booked it.
I booked it.
Okay, Thursday, June 26th. We can do it. And it's 7 days at Rio Cancun. How do we feel about that?
Wait, June 26th?
Yeah, bro.
Tanner's like, I'm out.
No, I just
don't pull a Tanner. Tanner, don't pull a Tanner right now. Just go with it. Yeah, send me the details.
So here's the thing, guys.
Yeah.
We either go hard or we don't go at all, because June 26th for a week, then we all fly to Texas and we do the last weekend in Texas and we all disperse.
Listen, man, I ain't trying to get fired. That's a lot of days off,
Yeah,
bro.
man,
I'm an American. Okay, we got like
days?
2 weeks a year. You're asking me a lot right now, bro.
We do YouTube full time, bro. I'm sure you can spare 10 days.
Yes, but I want to.
You can make content from Mexico.
But I want to know that too. Like, is there a Wi-Fi connection?
It's a 5-star all-inclusive hotel, dude.
All right. I've never been to Mexico. I don't know.
The fuck?
I went to Jamaica and that Wi-Fi was shit.
Yeah.
Mexico has good Wi-Fi.
All right.
Oh, this is a good spot.
So how are we feeling?
By
How we feeling
Starlink.
about this?
I'm down. I'm waiting for you to just send me the details so I can start the booking process.
All right.
To me, it's a business expense. I'm putting it down as a business expense.
Yeah, we're talking extensively about.
Yeah, because we're doing a
We will-
StreamYard. This is a business, right? It's an expense, somewhat, I think.
Yeah, this is being
I don't know,
live
Mike.
streamed right now, but yeah, we will be talking a lot of collaborations.
Yeah.
Hey man, I tried convincing Tevis to make $100,000, but
I'm gonna add Matt to the board of my corporation, so this could be a board meeting for us.
Tevis,
There you
you
go.
have WhatsApp, right? Tevis, just add the 4 of us on there.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Tanner, I can also send you the link because maybe you don't want to say it on live, but what I'm looking at specifically.
I'm getting scared, man.
no,
send it to
we
me.
don't want everyone knowing what we're doing, where we're at.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's fine. I thought there was an amenity that you were like, Tanner once he knows that this is here. I was like, what could it possibly be?
As much as I've met a lot of these beautiful community members in Vegas. Unfortunately, I had to meet Tevis in Vegas. That was probably the worst part of it. But yeah, I know it wasn't fun. But no, I'm just kidding. But there are some people that for sure we don't necessarily want having our info. Scary world.
Whenever I did the meetup in Toronto with Amit, it was a ton of fun. Not saying that we're gonna go do that in some Cancun.
yeah,
there weren't any weirdos in Toronto.
Legitimately, no. Not
That's
one.
awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone was awesome.
I think this time we should just, like I said, just keep it the guys and just
Yes.
chill. You know.
The guys and Tanner's
Okay.
baby mama.
So Tevis, once you send us the stuff, we'll book it. So I'm down. Matt, you're down.
Yes.
Okay, and Tanner,
there's a high likelihood.
high likelihood.
I have
Seriously.
I've got people to answer to. I've got a boss and she lives with me. So
What's the duration? Do you guys want to do 6 days, or do you guys want to do 7 days or 5 days? Like, what do you guys
I think 5 for me. 5 would be good. 6 is fine too. Like I said, I don't mind. I'm group consensus guy. Whatever the group decides, I'm cool with doing.
I can
Right.
I can swing up to 7. That's not a big deal.
That's fine.
people are going to set up Kalshi betting odds to know to bet on if I'm coming.
Love that.
15%. Oh, come on.
All right, 5 days.
That
5
sounds
days
much
is
better. That
5
sounds
days
let me
is perfect.
Let me drop you guys the details.
Okay.
5
What's
is
that?
perfect, especially if you're not doing anything crazy. Yeah, and that resort looks good too. So
Yeah.
and well priced from what I'm seeing for the package that at least we're.
Where are you
seeing.
guys seeing this? Send me
Yes.
something.
I don't know if that's.
Don't worry, it's not
proprietary.
going to cost you more than 2 Nvidia shares. Relax, buddy.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
everything in Tanner's brain now is how many Nvidia shares is this going to cost me?
Should I go ahead and book this then, guys? But this has it with me returning in Toronto. It doesn't have it returning in Texas.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff we might have to talk about offline.
That's something that each one of us can figure out on our own because we're all flying from different locations.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and book it.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, this looks fine.
okay. Ryu Cancun.
Was there something in particular that you were actually saying, Tevis, that like I'm gonna love it for a certain reason?
Hold on, let me figure that out.
Yo, there's like a bunch of
Yeah.
reviews. Which one are we looking at?
That's a good question.
It's in the chat, Chris.
All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna end the stream where we can chat a little bit more freely.
Yes.
Love you all. Thank you all for tuning in. 200 of you guys. Hopefully we will have.
We'll live stream from the beach so we can write this off on all of our channels.
Yes, 100%.
This is a business. So there you go.
Literally inputting credit card and passport details as we speak. So I hope you guys are serious.
Well,
No, I'm serious, bro. I'm down right now.
Matt, turn off the stream so we can actually book this.
Very good. See you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Greed is good. The stock is going to go up, down, sideways, or in fucking circles. It's all a fugazi.
Sell it all.
Greed is good. Huge upside potential, upwards of $60,000.
Thank you for joining Tavis and Chris and Tanner. You're the man. Love you. Bye.